coming tomorrow. Get ready, mama, prepare for your freedom. Freedom is coming.
Only chance Kenyans have to change this country because we are
Wajackoya the fifth. Very nice.
Underestimating the power of the unknown. My God who works with me knows the answers, and I'm the next president of this country.
always done what I've promised. For the last 62 years I've lived in this world. Whenever I promise you something, I'll do.
Youth washaamua kuwa Wajackoya the fifth. Mimi nishaamua Wajackoya the fifth, okay? 2022, this feature will be Wajackoya's.
What is the problem that you want to address as a president?
Economic problem.
In your own summation, what diagnostically, what are the problems Kenya is facing?
Kenya is broken in everything. It's just not one problem. It's not just two problems. The economy is broken. The legal systems are broken. The masses are broken. The leadership is broken. And all of it goes to this one human being, corruption. Kenya is ranked to be one of the most corrupt countries in the world. And according to the recent publication in Washington, D.C., when I was in the U.S. the other day, it was alleged that Kenya could go bankrupt anytime just to fall into the shoes of Sri Lanka. And that is the problem that we are facing, which cannot be fixed in the first 100 days. There will be 100 days of disaster.
And these are problems you attribute to the leadership of the country. Why?
To the leadership and also the people of Kenya, and probably the people of Kenya. I would rather say it is the people, not the leadership, because it is the people who are electing these leaders. It is the people who cannot see beyond their tongue. It is the people who, from time to time, they sing praises and worship people who have disintegrated this society. And I'm also going to other social members of society who are supposed to keep this society upright. They have encouraged corruption by accepting proceeds of corruption in their churches, places of worship, with the exception of Islam, Muslims who have never seen them participating. And I'm not saying all religious places of worship. I'm talking of the 3% of those who profess to be nearer God and the Pope, who have misled this country by not pointing at. If we had the likes of Reverend Joya, the likes of Dr. Kulu, the late Dr. Kulu, and the late Dr. Alexander Muge, when the church played a leading role in disseminating corruption, when the church played a leading role in liberating this country from the yokes of dictatorship. Today, I might be fighting, but now the most corrupt and some church leaders have now joined hands to fight me because I'm speaking the truth. I'm standing for Kenyans. I'm saying things that they do not want to be heard because they are holier than thou.
You say they are fighting you. Is it not because they are publicly against some of the agenda that you are advocating for? The legalization of marijuana, for instance. And we will come to those agenda. Are they fighting you or they are against your agenda? Yeah,
because if you go to Israel today, ganja is legalized. It has never been made illegal. If you read the Old Testament, you'll find out that even Moses himself used the holy plant of God while he was in exile with the Jews. If you look at Jesus himself, he accepted a woman who had come to see him, a woman who had been outlawed by society to be as a prostitute, named as a prostitute. The only way she could go to Jesus was to go and buy perfume made out of opium. She put it in her hair and she fell on the feet of Jesus. And then the Pharisees came in to condemn that woman. And Jesus said, no, she's a child of God. Which means Jesus actually followed the Torah, the laws of God, and at the same time enhanced the human soul towards emancipation. Let's call a spade a spade. If you go to Israel today, Israel is surviving because of ganja, not for smoking purposes, but it's surviving because of ganja for commercialization. Their military equipment and armament is made out of fiber, which is a product of hemp, which is manufactured through weed. When you go to the holy places in Israel, they use ganja for purification. Some of these pastors go to Israel in the pilgrimage. They don't tell us what they see. So you intend to legalize not primarily for smoking and personal use? No, I said I would puff on the day I would be sworn in, but what they didn't ask me is what kind of marijuana are you going to puff? Detox, the one which is allowed legally, the one which is medicinal. You puff it and then it detoxes you. And Prof, have you done the health versus economic
impact of legalizing marijuana, which is one of your main agendas?
Only in Kenya is where we have got tandamounty of ignorance. Can I talk? Can you allow me to speak?
Go ahead.
If you go to Canada today, Canada's economy has shifted from the oil economy to the ganja economy, where Canada last year alone earned 486 billion US dollars. What was the result of that? They modernized their technology, and Canada now has made the first aeroplane made out of hemp products. Let me say the fiber products. Fiber is used to make ships, to make ropes, to make arms, to make everything. Israel's economy, 70% of it is made out of hemp. That's why they have built up a very strong economy. Israel, Canada, 23 states in the United States, and last week the US government decriminalized weed.
Prof, let me interject you there. What you are citing is a diversification in the usage. Your critics say you want to create a smoking nation.
Yes.
Partly the reasons as to why the church is against.
Well, they have taken
in some
me to court.
quarters
They have taken
against
me to
your
court.
agenda.
Yeah, they have taken me to court. Today I was in court. They are taking cases up the court. But even if they manipulate the court, so what? What the church is not telling us is about the illegitimate children pastors are getting, fathers in Catholic Church are getting. They are not telling us about the mayhem they are causing to the Christian community. They are not telling us of the sacrilege they have committed. But when it comes to marijuana, maybe it's for the illegitimate children. They have sided with the nuns, they have sided with the people that they are coming in. I'm not condemning the whole church.
Prof, and you are making quite heavy allegations.
Yes,
tonight,
and they are very true. Because if you do research today on how many kids have been sodomized by the so-called priests,
Prof,
what are we going to say?
Prof, those are allegations you are making.
Yes, and I am concerned. I mean, it's up to me. I can substantiate what I'm saying.
All right, let me ask you this, Prof. For those who worry that you could be creating a smoking nation,
they should not worry.
What is your response to that?
They should not worry at all. I am not talking of smoking. I'm talking of commercialization. I'll give you an example of what China did. China actually planted 196,000 hectares of weed. Out of that, they got 3 trillion US dollars. Out of that, they gave Kenya, they lent Kenya 1.5 trillion shillings to build the SGR. That money came from weed. Nobody wants to talk about that. Please talk about the goodness, the good part of it. Smoking, everything, smoking, I'm against that part of it. I'm talking of getting Kenyans out of debt, paying off this debt, and getting Kenya into a #1 nation, just like what Thailand did the other
Primarily by exporting and selling ganja.
Exporting and selling and then developing our economic structures with that.
Prof, you are on record saying, and I quote, I have never smoked, but I will do so. My first joint as soon as I am sworn in as a president. I will invite everyone to State House to come and smoke so that we purify State House, Parliament and KICC. What do you want to purify State House from?
Yeah, because there's so many demons left by the whites in State House. There are so many people, especially former presidents, who have killed people in this country. Meetings were held in those State House and what have you. Let's purify this place. If you go to Parliament, you'll find out even parliamentarians accepting and saying that they used to smoke weed in the toilet before they go to make punitive rules and regulations that impede Kenyans. What I need to say is purification should be realistic, it should be real. Otherwise, I'm not going to live in State House. I'll have to go and live somewhere else because of the demons that were left there.
Fair enough. And what if the young people of Kenya assume that that process of purification entails their daily usage of bang? Will you take responsibility for that?
We are going to regulate, just like what has happened in Canada, just like what is happening in Uganda and Rwanda, just like what has happened in Zimbabwe, just like what has happened in Morocco and Holland, as well as other countries, like including South Africa. Is Kenya exceptional into bringing in weed, growing weed, and regulating it? If Museveni can do it and is our neighbor, why not us?
Is it therefore, Prof, my understanding that the reason as to why you want to legalize marijuana is primarily for economic basis and not necessarily recreational?
Yes, we are not fighting Chinese opium war during those days when they went to New York Port Harbor and rebelled against the United States government because of hunger, and they smoked opium. I am not talking of opium, I mean smoking. I'm talking of paying off these small Chinese and telling him to leave the country and making Kenyans to have money in their pocket, using those wheelbarrows to carry that bang and selling it for a ready market and then moving forward. We need money in our pockets. We need money in our hands, not to be given wheelbarrows or being promised 6,000 every month. For what purpose? 6,000 cannot even buy malaria queen. So I'm telling these folks, you are telling us the same thing every day. Every day you just change and do have you. We need a lean government belonging to the people like myself, who have no shenanigans at our back. That's what I'm talking about.
And still on the question of marijuana, have you quantified the exact export numbers that you will need to, as you say, put money into Kenya's pocket?
If you go to New York Stock Exchange and you look at the prices, you go to Paris Stock Exchange and you look at the prices of marijuana, you go to the Kenyans, especially those, the media, like Citizen, they say that this thing has no money. Just like the deep state recently went with a manifesto, my manifesto on Citizen, to try to impaginate my manifesto. The following day they were shamed. Shame on them. What happened is some people are caught with marijuana, and then they came and they said 1 gram of marijuana, no, 1 kilo of marijuana is 1 million. How did they quantify that? If they're saying that what I'm saying is not true. Why did the Citizen come up and quantify something that is illegal?
Fair enough.
When the deep state was trying to impaginate my concept.
Fair enough, Prof. You have a right to accuse, and given that Citizen is not in our panel tonight, we'll put that as...
I'm just saying what they
claim.
showed.
Okay. We'll put that as a claim. I saw the fact check that they did to them.
Yeah, they did it, and then they were lying.
Prof, still on the question of a smoking nation, what surety are you 21 days to the polls giving a parent who, for instance, is watching this program tonight, concerned on whether their child could end up smoking the newer intention of exporting ban?
Parents should be concerned with what is happening to their children today.
They should equally be concerned with marijuana,
I'm answering you that question. They should be concerned with what is happening to their children, lack of uniform, lack of school fees, drinking too much, having illegitimate pregnancies in school, the government not taking care of them. They should not be concerned with my program at all. Because I am a lawyer, and I come from the first world where we grow this thing. We have seen how it is regulated. I've just come from the US. I've just toured most of the industries that they have regulated there. And the places I've come from, it's legally quantified, restricted. The laws are there. The perimeters are there. We are not in a banana nation. But this mayhem of a few people who have never been outside their cage, because I'm thinking out of the box.
Prof, and very as many credit you as though you are thinking outside the box. For instance, you are in Kisumu, an impressive political rally where allegedly someone was in the crowd smoking. You rebuked that person.
Definitely.
But that could be a trend, isn't it?
Well, how many people smoke marijuana every day in this country, including the people we know in the State House? How many people smoke?
You know people who are in State House who
The
smoke,
big people
Prof?
smoke here.
Do you know them?
Well, if the former governor of Kiambu can go to Parliament and make allegations, and the former governor of Nairobi can go to Parliament and make allegations, how they used to smoke weed in the toilet before they went to make legislation. How many people smoke weed? Even if you want it right now, if you go out there, people will be there with it. So it's not a big deal. No.
It is, isn't it? You are a lawyer, you know better than me. It's a banned substance. It's illegal in Kenya as of now.
It's illegal, but it's being smoked. So why are people being caught up and being thrown in jail for something the government can come up and do otherwise? Restrict it and then let it be. It's like prostitution. Where it's restricted, we don't have too much prostitution. Ganja, where it's restricted, like in Holland, people really don't care. But if you hide something from somebody, you hide something from a child, the child will be curious. He wants to know. But in Kenya, they are smoking it. Police officers are arresting these people every day.
Prof, what of those who draw a parallel between what you are proposing and what's happening, for instance, in Jamaica, a country that, based on numbers, has high smokers in terms of weed? Why is Jamaica not a first world country? Why wouldn't your idea work there?
The weed in Jamaica is of very low quality according to international standards. Therefore, it cannot actually fetch money on the market as compared to the weed from here. And that's why you see all European countries and what have you coming in and smuggling it from this particular. The Nyasore grown in Kisii, for example, has been rated to be the best followed by that one from Luanda in Bunyore. Those two categories, the smoke, the weed that is going to be produced from those two regions will be enough to really make this country go very far. The one produced in Mount Kenya, from what I know, is not really tasty or nice in the market for market value.
And you have done those studies. Will
they
it be fair?
They have been done outside. People have come in to do PhDs indirectly, and they have gone and given the report. So when I was in the US...
But Professor, if what you are proposing is a silver bullet to Kenya's poverty, for instance, why hasn't Jamaica, why hasn't the rest
but I've told you
of
that
the
in
developing
Jamaica,
countries?
The kind of weed produced in Jamaica is of low quality. That's why there are no madmen in Kenya. But if you go to Mathare Mental Hospital, ask yourself how many, go and find out how many patients we have in Mathare Mental Hospital because of marijuana, because of other diseases. So we cannot compare Jamaica. The Jamaican one is Yaman, the Jawan, which is holier, because it's not that much of hot. They come, some of them want to come here and smoke it from there to go. I was in the US and they were telling me, Yaman, the one in Kenya is good. I said, but how did you find it? Say, man, they smoke, you want to smoke ganja, man? Kenya weed, you go in the coast, man, and you just get it.
All right. Prof, you have quite a number of agenda and promises that you are making to Kenyans. Marijuana is one among the promises you are making. It's 21 days to the polls, Prof. Your ideas are not what one will term as conventional. They are not the 6,000, the wheelbarrow promise, and the dignity of work promise, for instance. Some say your thinking is radical. Do you agree with that?
That's nonsense. It's not. Those who are saying so, they have no idea of what they are talking about. When somebody tells someone the truth, they come up and stereotypes. Oh, it's radical. Oh, this man should be taken to hospital. Just like what the lawyers have taken me to hospital because they say I'm a madman. Today, the litigation. So my thinking is straight to the point, and that's why I have massive following in the country. I can't walk in the street anymore. Why are people so much interested in me? I don't know, because I'm telling them the truth. So it's not an issue of being radical. Kenyans want to be told what they ought to be told, but not what somebody wants them to be told. Tell a man the truth. Tell someone, look, you're a thief and I don't like you stealing. And if you steal again, I'll whip you. Than saying, oh, no, don't take it like this. No, I have to speak it the way it comes from my mouth because I will die once. I was born once and I will die once. Yeah.
All right. Prof, I asked you that question because 21 days to the polls. There are some who say this is a contest between two horses. To be fair to pollsters, poll after poll places you as a third, distant third in the race. Are you still optimistic of winning this election?
Those polls are, I would have used a very hard word. Those polls, even recently one of them was whispering to me, Professor, do you want us to do something on these polls? Give us $1 million shillings. Those polls, I currently, I declare...
You mean there is a pollster who wanted to bribe you to work the numbers in your favor?
Definitely.
Who is
That's
that?
why I'm not going to mention him.
But you are alleged.
Because he's a fool, yeah. But that is why I back Ruto on this one. If Ruto boycotts because of the biasness of the media and those polls, I'm equally becoming number 2 to Ruto by saying the same. Those are manipulated. And when it comes to the so-called presidential team from hell, I'm telling you, those who are in that Politburo are people, men and women from hell. Why am I saying this way? Because why would you come, knowing what the Constitution is, seeing 4 presidential candidates, and now categorizing them based on baked up and cropped up polls, that if you have 5% and above, you are given this tier. 2 below, I am not going for presidential debate if that's how it is, because it's skewed. These polls are skewed. Look at the people who are talking about them. Are they not foreigners going on television, talking about our country? Why can't we make our own people talk to have their own polls?
To be fair, Prof, there are quite a number of pollsters who release polls week after week. Some are international, some are local.
Who pays them?
Are you saying that you do not believe in the numbers that indicate that you are
who
third
pays
candidate?
them? And for what purpose do they have to? Why not go to... Let's go to Kenyatta Avenue today. Then put Raila here, Ruto, Wajackoya, and my friend Mwaure, and ask people to stand at their back. Then those are real polls. But these things cooked up with the cookies. And then he comes up on the television every day. Wakwende huko na hizo polls zao.
Professor, you are alleging that someone wanted to work the numbers in your favor.
Definitely.
Were you open to the numbers being worked in your favor?
I told him to go to hell. That's why I said I don't want to use an F word. Because my culture will not allow that. Rastamen don't lie. Therefore, they don't accept lies.
All right. And in your own mathematics, Prof, in your own reality of things, where do you think you stand in as far as the percentages are concerned?
I've won the elections.
They're yet to be conducted, to be fair.
Yes, but I've won in advance. What else am I going to say? Some people are making a mint out of them. People like Professor Macharia writing bullshit today on the newspapers. Let that man, we taught together at USIU, let him actually look into his head and write the proper thing. You know, I'm rebutting it on television because he wrote it on the newspapers. Giving gimmicks, it's going to be like this. And then, why can't you run for election with the professor and then see how I'll defeat you hands down?
And Prof, are you disagreeing with everyone who has a differing opinion?
Not at all.
From the pollsters to the academic that you are now pointing to?
If you write bullshit, I'll ask you. I'll tell you. If you don't write, I'm okay. Rebuttal. If you talked about me, I will talk to you. I'm just talking of what has happened. The pollsters, I did complain and I said, what's wrong with these people? They are not even featuring me and Mwaure. Then after complaining, 5%. And I'm like, where has this come from? I had not even look at the way they are treating Mwaure. Even if Mwaure talks, the other side is my colleague. He should also be treated fairly. Where is fairness here? If you have money and you have money, you can bribe people to come on the platform, bust them, take them to a place, and then bribe the media to show the numbers. Then there you are running for president. Look at me. I don't even know how to call people. When I move and I go to a place, people just come. You can see the multitude. Not even a single stone has been thrown to me. Not even a single fights or what have you. So let's do a reality check today in modern Kenya. Too much English, too much subscription, too much this is not acceptable.
Professor, those pollsters as of now place you as a third candidate in the race. 3 out of 4.
I don't really
it's
care.
5% to 7%.
I don't care.
You disagree with them?
I don't really. Them give me 0 now.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Where do your own numbers place you, Prof?
The people I am with, just put on the television and see, and then you can see the numbers. I can't talk. Images talk. Yeah.
But every politician has a crowd that follows them.
Mine follows me. Even to Isiolo, I went for the first time unannounced. You saw how many people followed me. I don't buzz in people and having people dancing on the platform. You find old men who are supposed to be grandfathers and women dancing like this. Not me. Mine straight to the point. Boom, boom, boom. Mombasa. Tuko wapi Kongoya? Hapa nani professor ndio. People just come.
And you count that as a vote?
Definitely. Why do they come? And they don't ask me for money. They don't even shout at me. If I walk with you outside right now, you'll see. And that is what we call democracy.
All right.
But media is giving me a blackout. Every meeting I go, they don't come. The majority of the media in this country do not really care. But do I care? That's why social media has helped me a lot.
And Prof, you have a right to rebuke the media where you think they are unfair. And to be fair, because we are on this channel, TV47 has covered all the leading presidential candidates, to be fair.
Fair enough, because you are covering me because you are going to get money out of it. If Professor is here, there will be a lot of audience out there watching. You are not paying me. I'm the one making you to do this. If I was overseas, they will be paying me, right or wrong. Therefore, it's nipe nikupe. Si ati nimekuja hapa nimekaa hivi. Alafu, it's not for free. I'm making you money. You should be paying me to do my campaign. On top of that also, you should also be following me with the media outside there and also talking to the people.
Professor, the media has an obligation to give a free and fair coverage.
But they have also...
I can speak on behalf of this channel, which we have done.
Yeah.
You have a right to accuse all other channels.
No. What I'm saying is outside I'm paid to speak.
All right.
But here, I come to speak for you to have audience.
Let's deal with the question of corruption, Prof. You say, and I quote, fire them, kill 2 or 3 guys like they do in the Philippines. Muslims have Sharia law, they cut off their hands. Are they wrong? It is tit for tat. Steal from Kenyans, die.
I love that.
That's what you say.
Let me be the first president to kill thieves through the law. Let laws be made. That's why I talked of the constitution being looked into and Kenyans asking Kenyans if they want death penalty. So it be because in China, if you steal public money in China, they hang you after trying you. 2 weeks ago, they hanged 2 mayors. If you are in Japan and you suspect or you dream of stealing government money, you commit suicide. That's why the rate of suicides in Japan is very high. And if you look at statistics, those who commit suicide in Japan are fearing to face the firing squad. If you go to UK, US, Canada, they jail you. But when you come to Kenya, my brothers and sisters who are here, my brother, you go to Parliament or the Senate and wait there for the courts to preserve you. So corruption is everywhere, in the courts, in the Parliament, and everything. People are jailed 67 years. They come out of jail on bail and they run for elections. They say that's a fundamental right.
All right.
For me, I'm going to put rules and regulations. And let me just qualify this by saying the following. If you are found guilty for having stolen from Kenyans, there will be a questionnaire which you will fill and after you have been satisfied by the doctor whether you are sane or not. How would you like to die? Number A, firing squad. Number B, lethal injection. Number C, electric chair. Number D, by rope made out of hemp. If you choose D, then you'll be given an option to eat ugali, na kuku, with a bottle of wine if you are a drunkard. So that when you die, when you are satisfied, and you have not sinned, and God says, this man was just condemned for nothing, then you go to heaven when umeshiba.
All right.
Lakini kama hujashiba unaenda huko kama umelewa.
Prof,
Guys who steal must be killed.
in a nutshell, what you are proposing is the death penalty for corrupt individuals.
Yes, all of them.
This is not within Kenya's current constitution.
Yeah, that's why we need to change the constitution.
For you to
murder them.
bring
kill
back
them.
the death penalty.
Just to kill them. You kill 20 of them, there will be no theft. To go to Somaliland today, you can leave your money outside there. Go and do sombreros. When you come back, your money is still there. We shall not even need the bloody banks. You have your own money. Nobody's coming to steal from you. Open trade.
And how will you prevent misuse of the death penalty?
How?
In a country where, and you are a lawyer and human rights to that extent, where there is extrajudicial killings, as of now with the current constitution, you intend to bring back a death penalty that will guarantee everyone, honor your analogy as a corrupt individual, death.
You go to Singapore, go to Malaysia, go to China itself, where they play corruption here, but they cannot play in their own country. Go to the UK, no, to the US. There are some states that are holding on death penalty. For example, if you are sane and you rape a little girl of 2 years and you are found guilty in the state of Texas, would you expect to go and eat free ugali, free chips in the, or whatever they call them in the state prison? You die. So I'm not really scared. I'm not really worried about what people think about me.
And
but
by
you kill 10, the issue of Camarade Dam will not be there. The issue of KPLC, where they have stolen the whole thing left, right, down. All those guys need to be hanged.
And by the reintroduction of this, Prof, do you intend to use this as a deterrent mechanism or as a punishment mode?
Just like the Quran says, you steal with the left hand, they chop it off so that you don't use it again. And the Quran has been there for how many millions of years? Let it be in the statute book. If you're found guilty, you appeal. You're found guilty, die. We don't want thieves in this country. We have had enough. And they keep on recycling themselves, running for election, some of them having a hegemony of protecting other families. That will be a thing of the past in Professor Wajackoya's government.
Professor, in your introductory remarks, you made mention as the problems with Kenya primarily being economic. You talked of corruption.
Yes.
The rankings are not in favor of Kenya. There is high-level corruption in this country. Do you have the fear that you could end up killing quite a number of people?
Not me killing. The law will end up killing even all of them.
But that law will be your own introduction.
Let me tell you this. If there are 20 thieves that are being jailed today, have you ever seen a police cell that is full? I'm a prisoner at Imejaa, watu wapelekwe Uganda. Come on, man. A thief is a thief. A state fund thief is a thief. Why would you steal from KEMSA Then you come up and you stand for election to be elected governor or MP. And then you use the same money to bribe Kenyans. And then you use the same money to fight for justice. Die.
You're corrupt, you die in Wajackoya's government.
Yeah, there will be rules, laws, like we have in China. They don't just kill you. You face the task. Go defend yourself. Why did you steal? Did you steal? You have lawyers who will come and represent you. Yeah. I'm talking of what's happening in a so-called civilized world. Do you want to tell me that in most Sharia law in Islamic countries, are they mad enough to chop off your hand if you use it to steal? Why can't we talk of that? Do you want me to bembeleza hii nikupeleke Kodiaga prison? Just like my opponent said, one of my opponents said, ati Kodiaga itaja, nini itaja? Then you should be the first one to jaa huko kwanza, kwa maana wewe ndio mwizi namba moja.
Professor, Kenya is governed by a constitution touted as a very progressive one, the 2010 Constitution of Kenya. That constitution does not have the death penalty. You intend to change that constitution.
I'm telling you that we are going to review the constitution, and part of what we are going to ask is, would you like us to have death penalty? The majority of Kenya will say yes. It's a consensus that we're going to have with Kenyans after I'm elected. It's not like I'm going to just, I'll be a dictator in economics. But on the other side, let the law take its call. But when it comes to economics, you steal from economics, I'll be asking for the way out from Kenya.
And in the event that Kenyans reject that proposal?
That's okay.
You're
That's
okay
fine.
with that?
Yes, I'm okay with that. But I would have actually argued my case before them anyway. I would have told them, you know what, look at China, look at Malaysia, look at Philippines, look at countries where there have been no theft. But if you want them to steal from you the way you accepted when God was telling you when you wanted a king, in the Bible, when they wanted a king, Moses went there. God told them, go and tell the people this way. Moses went and told them, they said, no, we still want to do that. And that's why you have seen and everything that we have in this. So if people want to go the Mosaic way, so it be.
All right, and Professor, you are putting the disclaimer that you will be a dictator when it comes to the economy.
Yes, sir.
Good. There are claims, Prof, that your campaign and you as a candidate is someone's project. Some accuse you of being Raila's project. Others accuse you of being the Deputy President's project. Whose project is Professor George Wajackoya?
You know, that is the mentality we have in a circus. You know, I am in a circus of very bad men, the people I'm running with. And then I'm in a circus of very bad people, the people who are surrounding. Now, today, if I say something very favorable to Uhuru, to Uhuru or Raila, the Ruto people will be the first to shout, oh, the UN project. They have made so many memes of me. They have created a lot of Facebooks on me and Twitters to answer for me when it's not me. That is freedom for them. Now, if I say something against Ruto, there's more people will come up and make memes out of me. Now, remember this. Raila is a project of Uhuru Kenyatta.
Is he?
Uhuru is supporting him, and it's been given all the government machinery. So Raila is a project of the government.
But he will be seeking the presidency the fifth time. How is he a project?
It's a project. I'm talking of the current presidential election. I'm not talking of the other president, whatever. Now, Ruto is a project within a project. A very serious manipulator and a very serious project within himself. He started telling lies to all Kenyans that he's the one who brought those projects. With money from Sugoi, I don't know. He started telling lies to the churches by taking money to the churches. In my government, you will be accountable for the money you give because the KRA will ask you where you got that money from. Now, when they have seen that I've defeated them, oh, Wajackoya project. The other day, they brought me 200 million through a lady whom I chased away for me to go and disrupt my other opponents' electoral areas because of the youth. Now, as if that is not enough, some gay MP somewhere or politician from wherever comes up and says, I've been given 50 million by Uhuru, by Asimio, and I refuse to give this money to my deputy. So now I'm asking a question. If I was given 200 million and I refused from one group, why would I get to 50 million?
All right.
And finally, before you go on, now they have come up to quantify my intelligence and to quantify my finances and what have you. They have planted, both groups have planted spies in my campaign. I have been a spy myself, so how can anti-spy spy on a spy? And finally, or you want
Yes, Prof. When I've asked you a question, whose project is Wajackoya?
I am a project.
You have not answered that question.
I am not a project of anybody, and I will never be a project. I am a people's person. That's why people follow me wherever I go.
All right.
So if they want to say that those people who are following me are projects.
All right, Prof, when you are in Kisumu, when you make the notion that a vote for Raila or a vote for me is a win for the region,
I accept.
when the deputy president, for instance, takes an issue with the day, time and date you are launching your manifesto, saying you are a planted candidate there to disrupt his manifesto. You don't agree with both?
Let me start with Ruto. Ruto thinks that he was sent by God to rule this country by force. And because of the fear and disappearances around him, people dying like that policeman who died and we don't know who killed him. He thinks that yeye ni mwanaume akiongea watu people dance around him. When Ruto came and said that, I looked at him and I said, this guy has run out of ideas. He thinks I will fear him? To hell with him. You know why? Because I was supposed to have done my manifesto, but my grandchild became sick. He had an issue, a very serious issue, which I'm not going to say. So I booked an airline to go to Spain. But then it so happened that my son could not be seen that particular time because he was in ICU, my grandson, what have you. So I canceled the flight. So I had to bring this because I wanted to go, which never happened. Now, when I booked to do my launch of what have you, to me, they know that I'm nothing. That's why some of them were bringing me money and what have you. So don't I have a right to do what I wanted to do? Yeye akienda huko kucheza disco upande wako na mimi nacheza disco yangu. Kwani atafikiria ati nini? Alafu coming to Raila, you asked me a question.
Yes.
In Kisumu, it's journalists who made a lot of stories. I stopped in about 15 areas. In one area I said, Raila has imposed his old brother on the people of Siaya without going through the democratic process. He has imposed his sister on the people of Kisumu without going through, or he went through, I don't know. His sister-in-law in West Sakwa. What is wrong with this man putting his own people and then denying people like Kidero a ticket or what have you? When I said that, nobody really bothered. But when I said that, okay, when I was in Kondele, there was a bridge up there. And people are holding stone up there. So when I looked at that, when I was dancing, I was like, this one, I am done. I had to change tactic. Survival for the fittest.
So it wasn't you endorsing Raila.
I had to tell them for me to leave. It was for my own security. And survival.
And it had nothing to do with your preference of one of the two candidates.
48 laws of power. What is rule number one? If you come to my home and you want to eat my food, don't abuse my wife because she'll pour hot soup on you.
Will you do the same if you went to a Singishu, for instance?
I've done it already. And people danced like tadpoles. When I said Ruto Tosha, hey, I've said it. In Muranga, when I was in Muranga and Meru the other side, I went and stood. I looked around. I said this was Ruto's area. Then I said, how many people from UD are here? Kujeni muongee hii ni nchi yenu. They came and spoke. What about Azimio? No, not Azimio. I made my point, which I went.
All right, Prof, quite in the response to the questions I'm asking, you are talking of they trying to bribe you, that you are given 200 million to change your political stand. Who are they, Prof?
Well, I have 3 opponents. But let's remove Mwaura from it. Mwaura only knows how to abuse me. But he doesn't have money to give me. Maybe he has it, he will give me, I don't know. But out of these 2, one offered that so that I could go and spoil votes for the other one. I told them to F off the lady they sent. And now this other one that has been choreographed to bring division, in my side, they say, Wajackoya alichukua 50 million, akakataa kugawia deputy yake. Really? 50 million? What is 50 million to me anyway? Yes, it's a lot of money, but do they know how much worth I am? They have no idea. I wish they did some kind of background check where I've come from in the US or what have you.
So, Prof,
to understand that I've been working for the last 32 years.
All right. So you're confirming by your own admission that both Azimio and Kenya Kwanza have tried to bribe you?
Yeah, one was this and the other one was this. And I'm like, the people I represent on the streets, if I even took a shilling and came out of this, they will kill me. I have so many fanatics that if they don't see me or they hear that professor has stolen and has run away, man, where will I go? Where will be my dignity? So I'm telling them, they can try everything. The pastors have 3 cases against me. The men of God, they have taken me to court. And the Sugoi people have also taken me to court with 1 case. There are smear people have also taken me to court. So I have 5 cases pending. One of them is that I'm a madman. That's from those who have been sponsored by the church. But they should understand one thing. They have no moral authority. They have no moral unless there is scientific evidence.
All right.
To start, and I'll challenge. I was in court today.
All right, Prof. You're pointing out to divisions within your party.
Attempted divisions.
Attempted.
Yeah, of course, I'm an old man. I've been a spy for so many years. So if you say you planned people in my party to spy on me, I'll look at you and laugh with you. It's like dangling a rat's tail. When let me say this. When a cat sees a weak rat, it takes its head and dangles the tail that way. And I'm like, these people, do they know what they're joking with? Wameshindwa.
And you say divisions and infiltrations.
Yeah.
From which side of
both
you
sides,
are on?
Both sides coming, but they have failed.
Through who?
Through the so-called small boys I put to work around me and what have you. Then they come in, oh, we are Mekula. But that has failed totally because you cannot put me, you cannot come with unclean hands, expect me to come with unclean hands. Equity requires clean hands. When your heart is very clean, my brother, nothing will befall you.
Professor, what is your relationship with your deputy?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, we are okay, though I don't know her that much. I only knew her when she came in for the interview, and she joined. And that's as much as I know her. I cannot tell you that I know her from the background. Neither can she tell you that she knows me. So we're just there trying to work out whether we can discover each other or not.
And when you talk of people wanting to give your party money to the tune of 200 million, what often do they want? Do they want you to step down in their favor?
No. I told them I'm not stepping down. That was the first question.
What do they want?
They wanted me to go and campaign in my opponents so that I can kill my opponents' area by getting young votes from there, according to them. And I told them, my friend, just get an F from my face. It was a very honorable member of parliament, woman, who came to me for your information. But I'll write down that one day when the right time comes. They used Asians who are very close to me to do that. And those facts are there. And my bodyguards, they know it.
Professor, one of the key issues that Kenyans are battling tonight as we have this interview is the cost of living. Of course, it's worthy to note that the cost of unga is down as per the communication from the Agricultural Ministry today. But how does Professor George Wajackoya and his presidency intend to bring down the cost of living?
Very simple. The first 100 days will be very difficult. We shall be inheriting a bankrupt economy. It's from there that we shall sit down to plan. I cannot say that I'm going to bring manna from heaven and give people here to eat. I'll be lying to the people. It will be a common consensus. It once happened when the tiger economy collapsed in 1998. By that time, I was a student at Warwick University. When Malaysia now went back to its citizens and said, our economy has collapsed. Can you guys bring in the jewelry and everything that you have so that you can plan from there? That's the kind of economy I'm inheriting. I'm not going to tell you that bei ya unga itashuka, nini. And some of them are shouting, but they were ministers for agriculture before. But I'm not going to condemn them. What I'm going to do is, within these 100 days, what are we going to do to survive? Survival for the fittest. Then it's from that pool that we shall chart our way forward.
Quite a number of questions, Prof, online here. Let me sample some. Ombok Malaya says, what does he mean that he will change and suspend the constitution? Chief Silas says, ask Prof about the bottom-up economic model of the deputy president.
For the side of changing the constitution, I'm going to ask the Kenyans to relook into the constitution and ask themselves why it has not worked. Ask themselves why the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature are fighting every day. Ask themselves why the judiciary has let Kenyans down by prolonging cases. A case that was done here, that was instituted here many years ago, the Chicken Gate and the IBC case. Those who are involved in that case in UK faced the rule of law. They went to court, found guilty, appealed, went to jail, and they're now free men. Whereas in Kenya, it's still the same. I also want Kenyans to find out, if the issue of impeachment is final, why would people be going around and politicians making statements, giving the likes of those who have been impeached, giving them a limelight? Everything is not right. But when it comes to bottom up, obviously Ruto has been working for me. He talked of bottom up, but now the good part of it is that he has given me wheelbarrow for ganja. So we shall not have a problem when it comes to the first 100 days on how to transport our ganja to the market. And I thank the Deputy President for that. That's why I like him, because he's made it easier for me. Because how do you expect a graduate from University of Nairobi or any university? You graduate, pap, you are given a wheelbarrow, na kijiko. And then you are told that bottom up. Bottom up kitu gani? Sisi tunataka pesa kwa kila mtu. Yani, you want to take us to 1954.
All right. He asked you about bottom up. Just for purposes of fairness, what of the 6,000 shillings that Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate is proposing?
Maybe Raila is going to sell, or is it Opoda farm? How do you come up and you tell people that I'm going to give 6,000? Where are you going to get it? That means Kenyans are going to be borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. That is not realistic. And then he says, atuwazee na vilema watapata pesa kidogo. My country will not be a welfaring state. People will have to work hard. Ganja, when you introduce ganja, for example, for the first 1 year, it will be very difficult because ganja gets 6 months to grow so that we can get fiber from hemp. Then we process it and then export it. But this issue at 6,000 kitu, anatoa wapi? They have been singing the same thing. Wengine wanasema lapset. Wengine wanasema sijui watoto watapewa nini.
But Prof, you are dismissing both what they are proposing.
Yes.
Is it not the case that they're equally dismissing what you are proposing as a wishful thinking?
Me, I'm giving Kenyans how. Them, they are not giving Kenyans how. They are telling Kenyans what they have been telling them in a recycled formula for the last 50 years. Me, I'm telling Kenyans, this weed you are condemning is what is making Americans to grow, Canada to grow. Uganda now, Museveni is saving the pot because of the Chinese by growing weed to pay off the Chinese debt on Entebbe International Airport. And I'm telling Kenyans, look here. Look at the Chinese and look at this debt. Look at where they have been. If you go to Malaysia, to Sri Lanka is in a crisis. Because the Chinese gave them the money, they have taken the port away. You go to Lusaka in Zambia and Lusaka in Zambia, they have taken away Lusaka International Airport. You go to Mozambique, they have taken away Beira. Now in Kenya, what did Uhuru give to these people? What did Raila Kibaki Uhuru? Because that thing of the Chinese started there. The Islam gone as well? Is Mombasa gone? Is Kisumu Port gone? That's why I'm going to do away with all those bilateral treaties. First, the way Cyril Ramaphosa did in South Africa.
And in your view, the silver bullet to all this is growing bang.
Yes, because
and exporting
that's the economy of today is ganja, is weed, not the smoking one. If you look at what is manufactured out of weed, including bricks, planes, drones, ships, and also food. I was in the US and I went to a restaurant where everything is ganja. And people, the prices were enormous, where they're saying that scientifically, it has been proved scientifically that if you eat food manufactured from ganja and hemp and what have you, it cures the body, detoxes the body, and people live longer.
And just for purposes of clarity, Prof, once again, you're not proposing an investment in marijuana for personal use and smoking and recreational use.
Actually, we should be talking of hemp and the byproducts of hemp, which comes from marijuana or ganja, jaga. I'm not talking of the raw material from here. If you smoke before me, I'll chase you away. If you break the law, call the police. What I'm talking about is the byproducts, like textiles, brakes, planes, fiber, things that bring money on the, even this camera, if you look at it, this camera, if you get into details, it's made from hemp. The vehicles I'm driving now, the vehicle that I have, the body parts are made from hemp, from fiber. What's wrong with that?
All right, Prof, you dismissed what the pollsters and the polls are indicating in terms of percentages. You are a professor who knows the laws of mathematics and probability better than I do. I'll still insist on asking you, what are your realistic chances of becoming the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya?
I am the president, that's why I'm running for president. And as soon as the elections are done, you'll see me as being sworn in unless they steal through the agents. That's why I'm asking all the rastas wherever they are in Kenya, all the Rastafarian, the German, to come out in big numbers, bring your names to me, and go and protect my votes as my agents.
What if someone is not a Rasta? Is it limited to Rasta?
No, Rastas are known to be good people.
All right.
They don't steal. They want their religion or what have you. But any other person who does not come, because Rastas, right now, they have been involved in my campaign, they don't ask for money. Some other people will come and then, niko na youth wengi sana. If you hear somebody tells you like that, chase him away. Because nakwambia niko na youth nilikuwa na Raila, then what are you doing here? Why aren't you? So what I'm trying to say is, I'm asking Rastas and Kenyans of goodwill to come out in big numbers to protect my votes, because my votes are going to be stolen.
Prof, what of those who draw a parallel between your candidature and that of many other candidates who did vie in 2013, glaringly the case of Mohamed Abdu Badida, who had captured literally the brains of people but got a low percentage in terms of
Wajackoya
voters?
Will never be anything else. Maybe I could be a monkey in my next life, or Satan, the way they are calling me, or even an angel, Angel Gabriel. I have never been Dida, will never be Peter Kenneth, will never be Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, neither will I be Uhuru Kenyatta.
And are they justified to draw parallels between your candidature and their candidature?
You know, too many people are idle. So people have to talk. This is democracy. Like a client of mine who is outside the country is now opening his ball mouths by spitting. What is spitting? Leave them alone. If you answer them, then they want some kind of relevancy. So if you see all those people writing, you ask them, who are you? Where do you live? How much money do you have? Where did you go to school? Mm-hmm. Can I give you 10 shillings, 1,000? They will say yes. So those are mikopo ya kuropoka.
And finally, Prof, in 21 days, Kenyans will head to the polls. That's at least constitutionally given. But there is a presidential debate, the running mate for the 19th, which is tomorrow, and the main presidential debate on the 26th of this month. Will Professor Wajackoya and the Roots Party participate in the presidential debate?
No, sir.
Why not?
If they don't put me, Raila, Uhuru, and my friend Maure, I'm not going there. Because of the skewed results, these poll results where they say that if you get 5% and above is when you go. Kenya is the only country which has got a team of mad people in the presidential debate. How did they come out with that? Those guys are mad, and I'm telling them off. I've even told the person who is arranging that to go to Mathare Mental Hospital. Because if you go to Canada, you go to UK, you go to the US, even China, even Singapore, all presidential candidates are put together for people to see their body language, how they answer questions, how they look at each other, how they check the temperatures and temper. But these guys come in, atapana takwa hivi, I will boycott it.
Professor, the justification is they did 3 polls and established candidates in tier 1 with below 5% and tier 2 with above 5%.
Did they follow the
They quantify the scientific findings of this data.
Studies? Did they involve presidential candidates as to the methods of choice? Mm-hmm. As what would you prefer? We are been given the mandate by IBC to run, to take charge of 49 million people in this country. You cannot just come out with a suit from Harvard or Oxford or Nairobi University because you are a journalist, you know too much kizungu, unakuja hapa kuambia presidential candidate, at sasa tumefanya hivi, these are the rules. Oh. Hell no. Are they justified? Are they in the constitution? Are they in the law?
So you will not participate in the presidential debate?
Unless it's Raila Amolo Odinga Tinga, Weda Lego. There's William Samoei Ruto, the big boy, and there is Maure, and I, on the same platform, speaking before Kenyans, for Kenyans to make an informed choice. I am not going to go for a skewed. If Kenyans want to vote for me, they will still vote for me. But if they think that, because now mimi ni nusu mwanaume, and mimi ni ndume, niko na watoto wamekuwa hivi.
The main presidential debate, for purpose of clarity, is on the 26th of this month. What is there tomorrow is the running mate debate. Will your running mate from your party, the second in your command, attend that debate?
My running mate is a lady. She's a Kenyan. She's grown up. She has got her own independent minds. Mm-hmm. I cannot think for her. So
your failure to attend will not be a party position?
Ruto said he was not going to attend. Gachagua said he was not going to attend. Gachagua has stand, he's going to attend tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Therefore, it's up to the candidates, because this is Kenya and the role of women has to be respected. She's a mother. she's a wife of someone, and she's an auntie of somebody. If she decides to say, let me go for it, why not? As we are not dictatorial in terms of what we do. We are freebies.
All right, Professor, I suppose finally, the reason as to why you are vying is to win. And we wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you.
In the event that you don't win, which is a possibility.
Life continues.
Just as the other 4 candidates too. Will you concede defeat?
Yes, definitely. Definitely, I will be the first one to say I've conceded if it's fair and if the elections are fair. Yeah.
All right, Professor, in 30 seconds, perhaps on this camera, why should a Kenyan watching this program vote for you on the 9th of August?
I'm not going to ask you to vote for me, but I want you to continue coming out. Let me speak with you. And if you feel like I'm the man, vote for me. But I'm not going to ask you to vote for me without listening to me. And I'm thankful to Mount Kenya. Mount Kenya has shown its love for us. Rift Valley, North Rift has shown a lot of love. The areas I've not reached, I'm going to reach, and then make your own informed choice. You want to vote for me? Fine. If you don't want to vote for me, it's okay. There will always be another time. But I'm not going to sleep, not to sleep because you have not been elected. If the elections are fair, you guys come and vote for change. Lakini mkitaka waizi muendelee now, sauri yenu. Thank you.
All right, Professor George Wajackoya is a presidential candidate in the Roots Party of Kenya. Thank you for your time, Prof. And we wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
Someone is texting me, wants to know what the composition of your cabinet will look like.
Good. Right now, we shall follow those who will be around me and those who have been with me. For example, in my cabinet, I'm naming them as I go. The first one I've named to replace Matiang'i with immediate effect is Mr. Kinoti. As soon as they hear I'm the president, Kinoti is going to take over, or I would suggest Kinoti's name to be vetted for being the Minister for Interior. I have also another young lawyer from Meru, Mudomi Tionkulu. I'll be requesting him to step in as the Attorney General. I have Dr. Gwada, the guru of Ganja, to be the Minister for Hemp. And I will continue naming my ministers as we continue.
All right, thank you, Prof. Professor George Wajackoya is the presidential candidate of the Roots Party. And that brings us to the end of tonight's edition of Pandits Night.
Calling it the Wajackoya effect.
Kidogo nasikia 1 million Wajackoya, 2 million.
Hey, he must be the most genius I've ever seen in my life.
In the comment hapo nataka comment Wajackoya the 5th. Kwenye comment section, just give me Wajackoya the